Imagine a young prince growing up under the shadow of a terrible curse, an incurable disease that threatens not only his life, but also the stability of an entire kingdom. This is Baldwin IV, the Leper King of Jerusalem, whose youth was marked by extraordinary challenges and unwavering courage. From an early age, Baldwin showed signs of a disease that would change his life forever. However, instead of being spared from hardships, he received a rigorous education and was prepared for the throne by some of the most notable advisors and warriors of the time. Even weakened, he would learn the art of war and diplomacy, proving that his strength of spirit surpassed his physical limitations. In this video, we will explore his youth, how leprosy was discovered, who his mentors were, and how he managed to defy all expectations, becoming a leader admired by allies and feared by enemies. Stay with us until the end to learn the incredible story of a king who, despite being marked by pain, entered history as one of the great defenders of Jerusalem. And if you enjoy this kind of content, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories from the Middle Ages. To understand Baldwin's youth, it is essential to delve into the setting of the Kingdom of Jerusalem in the late 12th century. Founded after the First Crusade, this Christian kingdom in the Middle East was a land of constant conflicts, where Muslims and Christians vied for control of the Holy Land. The period in which Baldwin grew up was marked by the rise of Saladin, the great Muslim leader who unified Egypt and Syria under the banner of Islam. While Saladin consolidated his power, the Crusader kingdoms faced internal divisions and political challenges. There were disputes among European nobles, and the kingdom's survival depended on fragile alliances and the arrival of reinforcements from the West. Beyond political instability, the society of the Kingdom of Jerusalem was a fascinating blend of cultures. Europeans, Byzantines, Arabs, and Jews coexisted amid tensions, but also engaged in intense commercial and cultural exchanges. It was a world where Christian chivalry encountered the warfare tactics of the East. It was in this tumultuous environment that Baldwin spent his childhood, surrounded by palace intrigues and external threats. From an early age, he would have to learn to navigate this complex landscape to ensure his survival and that of his kingdom. Baldwin IV was born in 1161. He was the son of King Amalric I of Jerusalem and Agnes of Courtenay. From a young age, he displayed intelligence and determination, but also early signs of leprosy, a devastating disease for anyone, even more so for an heir to the throne. His condition was discovered by his tutor, William of Tyre, one of the greatest historians of the time. Noticing that Baldwin did not feel pain even when injured, William realized the terrible truth. The young prince was afflicted with leprosy, a diagnosis that at the time was practically a death sentence. Despite this, Baldwin was not relieved of his responsibilities. On the contrary, he received an exemplary education, being trained in the arts of war and leadership. Among his mentors was Raymond III of Tripoli, an experienced Crusader noble who taught him military tactics and the importance of diplomacy. Throughout his youth, Baldwin proved to be a skilled knight, participating in tournaments and battles despite the limitations imposed by his illness. His resilience impressed both allies and enemies, and his courage would soon become legendary. However, as leprosy progressed, his destiny as a monarch would become an increasingly greater challenge. Even as the disease advanced, Baldwin refused to be treated as an invalid. From a young age, he demonstrated an impressive capacity for leadership and bravery in combat. When he ascended to the throne in his teenage years, he had already proven himself to be a respectable commander. At 16 years old, Baldwin faced his greatest challenge yet, leading the armies of the Kingdom of Jerusalem against Saladin, the formidable Sultan of Egypt and Syria. Despite his weakened condition, he led his troops to victory at the Battle of Montgisar. In this battle, The young king demonstrated extraordinary willpower, inspiring his knights to face an enemy that was numerically superior. The impact of this victory was immense, as it dealt a rare defeat to Saladin and reinforced Baldwin's reputation as a military leader. However, the disease continued to progress. His fingers began to atrophy, and his face and limbs were affected by increasingly severe wounds. Even so, Baldwin continued to rule with determination. To ensure the stability of the kingdom, he had to deal not only with external threats, but also with palace intrigues among the Crusader barons who vied for influence over the throne. Baldwin's inability to produce an heir made succession a critical issue. He attempted to secure the kingdom's future by appointing regents and promoting strategic alliances, but rival faction disputes persisted, putting Jerusalem at risk. Even amid so many adversities, Baldwin never stopped fighting. His spirit of resistance defined his youth and his reign, making him a legendary figure among the Crusaders and an example of courage in the face of adversity. Baldwin's story teaches us that greatness does not depend on circumstances, but on the courage to face them. His name was etched in history as a king who, despite all obstacles, never succumbed to despair. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends. See you next time.